Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is the Papa Joe Show, where Papa Joe knows I am your host, Papa Joe. Today, I am joined with Economic Ninja. How are you doing today, man?
Awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for popping on today. I know you're real busy and crazy stuff's going on. I
Yeah.
can only imagine. So yeah, I just wanted to have you on, man. We talk about I talk a lot about the economy and whatnot on the shows. Talk about the high level stuff, how it correlates with crypto, and how all that fun stuff all connects and everything. And then also how the housing market is near and dear to my heart. So it's something that you have definitely had experience in, and just kind of wanted to have you on and let the audience kind of get to know who you were and throw some stuff out there. So before without that, tell us who you are and a little bit about your show and whatnot, and kind of go from there.
Yeah, I started economics YouTube channel about almost 2 years ago to the month, and it blew up real fast. Been really blessed. I think the reason why is because I've been an investor since 1998. I've been invested in everything from the .com stocks I sold before the crash, invested in real estate. I sold all my real estate portfolio off in mid 2006 before what most people thought was the crash in 08. Became an accredited investor through Robert Kiyosaki, started investing in oil wells, and then moved on to cryptocurrencies. I've invested in some Forex, things like that. Now I'm doing private placements, took my accreditation to the next level. So pretty much the full gamut.
Fantastic. That's awesome. I've done a couple of private placements. You may or may not remember, we met at the Mark Moss Market Receptors, his first one that he did. And we had met there and touched base and whatnot. And you and a couple other people, we were there with Viva Capital.
They did a lot of private placements
right. There. Yeah.
Okay. Now I totally remember you. Yes. Yeah, because your buddy was there too. I'm blanking. Litecoin Leader was part of that.
Yeah. Litecoin Leader. Yep. So
awesome.
We were there. We were just kind of filling out the community and seeing what their interests were in the community and the crypto stuff, and kind of just trying to meet people and get to know you guys. So met you and I'm impressed with your stuff. My wife watches your stuff, so
thank you.
A lot of good stuff.
So humbling, especially when you're meeting people, in the airport and stuff. It's the whole thing is just getting crazy.
I mean, you're significantly. You just exploded in 2 years. It's impressive, to be honest with you, man. Just to see what just stuff you put out there. I think we shared similar backgrounds when it comes just to hearing the words and the choice of words and whatnot you use and everything. It's just like, I'm tremendously blessed as well to be able to do these types of shows and have that kind of stuff. So I really do respect that greatly.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to have you on. What's going on in the housing market? When do you think things are real? I know things kind of turned around. This is just me. I'm not educated like you are with this, but this is just me paying attention, things started turning around in 2019, but like before that, this was almost more of a God thing for me, was where I had for years and years I've been praying for wisdom around money and economics and stuff like that, and the Lord really answered that. And then I guess it was earlier in 2018, my wife and I decided to sell our house, kind of get off on the sidelines, that kind of stuff, take that and try to invest wisely, and then and we've been sitting here just kind of going, what in the world? It's like a black swan happened with the whole, as I like to call on my show, the hunger disease and the cookies they tried to force down everyone's throats. So all that set aside, everything's kind of, I feel like, picking back up to where it was supposed to in 2020. What are your thoughts around all that?
Yeah, so I also sold my house, my last piece of real estate, in 2018. The bulk of my portfolio went in 2006, but I sold in 2018 because I knew that the banks were having problems.
Yeah,
I bought Bitcoin and silver with my house funds. So I'm still to this day doing fine because Bitcoin was at 3,200 when I paid for it, but I did transfer into a couple other altcoins. They're still up, but not up like if I would have just held my Bitcoin. Nevertheless, my silver position, I think I was in silver at $14, $15 an ounce. So I'm doing good, right?
It's interesting.
That must have been a very hard time for you because when you sell and and you are correct, the crash was happening in mid 2018 to 2019. And then the world changed in October of 2019. And ironically, I was at a Litecoin summit the week that it came out of Wuhan. So everything changed, and what you have experienced is a bubble unlike anything that's ever been pumped up before, even bigger than quantitative easing or after 9/11.
I'm familiar with that stuff, man. That's crazy. That's crazy in itself.
It is. And what you need to realize is you are in the crash. When I started to sell my real estate was in mid 2005 when I found out who Michael Burry really was, who he was. Yep. Nobody knew he was. I knew he was. I knew about the Wolf of Wall Street when he was trading. I studied the people that everyone was laughing at. I love contrarians. Why? Because contrarians are always right. They're the ones that are going against the herd. You know? Yeah. So right now you are in the crash. Now, the problem that people don't realize, the crash in the real estate actually started last July. And everybody freaked out on me. And I said, look, what you have to understand is real estate collapse when there is low velocity in transactions. And that's what happened in June and July of last year. Velocity started to slow down because people did not have the money to go out and buy the house next door and move up. So what happened is people started to contract their spending, which also made them contract their selling of their homes. So there are fewer homes on the market available. And that is what led to the last year of exploding home prices, because there are always dumb people in the market. These people bought Beanie Babies. These people bought tulips. They bought emus in the 1990s. The point being is there's always a group of dumb people, and they float around the world, and they're always dumb. And I'm going to be honest with you, they're always buying tops, and they're always selling at bottoms. And we need these people. They are what bring the life force into being wealthy. And
unfortunately, you're right.
Yeah, I want to change that, but I'm going to try millions of people at a time. And I'm always going to get that dumb, again, for the dumb people. I can't believe you just make fun and take advantage of people losing their houses. I'm like, hey, people are going to lose their houses. I'm going to try and stop them. They're still going to lose their house. And then I'm going to buy it and rent it back to them and be a really good landlord. And that's the premise of what's going on right now in the real estate market.
Sure. Yeah. I think that we're starting to see, unfortunately, with everything that, with all the pandemic and everything that happened, you ended up seeing, a lot of the courts are just now starting to get caught up on all the foreclosures and related things. And because the moratorium and everything went away and all that fun stuff, it's like everything just got paused and prolonged. And I think we're starting to see on top of that, a compounding issue with that. And then you have the interest rates rising. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I think every time the interest rate raises 1%, the home prices are supposed to come down 10, or is it 20%? I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it's 10. I'm pretty sure it's 10, but you have to remember the time weighted factor in that. It takes a certain amount of time for that to filter through. But let me jump back to what you just said. It's very important. I need to do a video about this, about going through the banks, going through all these foreclosures. First off, the banks are holding on to a lot of properties that are 4 and 5 months past due. The reason why they do not want to foreclose on this is for 2 reasons. They don't want to spook the market, but they also don't want to spook their shareholders. See, the second a bank declares, we're not going to work with you, we're officially foreclosing, what happens to the ability or the desire for a homeowner to keep making payments or make a payment whatsoever? Goes zero. Exactly. Goes to zero. So what happens is they're trying to string you along and trying to get you to pay anything. Or, hey, can you pay half your payment this month? Can you pay a quarter?
Something.
Exactly. And so what's happening is banks are doing exactly what they did in 2006. They're trying to come up with solutions. One of the solutions were forbearances that turned into 40-year mortgages, which is that
actually happening yet?
Oh, yeah. No, it was happening last year. I interviewed a real estate attorney out of Dallas, and that's all he does was negotiate forbearances. And I broke that story a while ago, that they were literally closing out they were doing these 40-year mortgages. Well, if people understand what the 40-year mortgage product is, it has a higher interest rate than a 30-year. But since it's amortized over 40 years, an additional 33% lifespan, your payments come down a little bit. And what he was saying is the average forbearance plan that he was negotiating, which he told his clients you shouldn't do it, but all they thought of, remember, dumb money, they go, but I'm going to save $250 a month. This is great. Yeah, but you're now a slave. Your credit's been hit.
Yes.
And so a lot of problems there. So what's happening right now is actually the crash. You are in the crash. It is bigger than 2008 because the amount of money, the leverage that's been put into the market.
They didn't, you talk about Michael Burry, real quick. Michael Burry a second ago. You talk about like the CDOs and the mortgage-backed securities. Those never stopped. The Fed has 2.7 trillion or something like that on their balance sheet right now, just of those, and no one's going to buy them because they've become the lender of last resort.
You are correct. And that is actually a plan. They do like that idea because eventually when you can't pay your payment, they go, look, well, let's just turn you into a renter. We're going to give you a smoking deal on rent and you can keep that payment till the day you die. And what they've done is they've locked your life down. You're now not allowed to ever leave because with it, normal inflation and destruction of the purchasing power of your currency, they know that over a few years, if you're that mouse that's trapped in that cage, you're never going to be able to get out, because that free cheese, even though it's getting smaller and smaller and harder to get to, it's still free. It's there. And now you're a slave. And so that's what I'm trying to preach to people, to wake people up and say, let's get ready for this next crash. Let's absolutely crush it. It's going to take a lot of patience.
Yep. That's kind of where we're at right now. And my wife and I are just kind of like, well, just going to be patient, because, you got into Bitcoin and whatnot back then, but I started mining in late 2011. So I've been in this space for a long time. I've got an IT background, so I'm a techie at heart. So I went, and while I was mining, I was also throwing it out the door, trying to figure out how it worked. And I had hard drives die with it on there and all that. This is back before there was any way to restore it. Those people like me walking off all those cliffs. Yeah.
I have too. I've lost. It's too much to talk about. But yeah, I started mining in 2017 because I wanted the basic fundamental, the knowledge base to be able to talk about blockchain.
Yep. It is important. And this is something I say on my show often, is that cryptocurrency and blockchain equals freedom for humanity. And just in general, crypto in general is going to end up being what I like to call the exit strategy. Because in my view, this time, with the debt crisis, the mortgage issues, the housing, everything around that, and then on top of that, you have all of the fiat currency that they printed 80% of the U.S. monetary supply in the last 2 years alone. I think that we're into that perfect scenario where everything just completely crumbles and almost back into a depression type thing, like Robert Kiyosaki talks about a lot right now. And at that point, I've been saying cryptocurrency is the exit strategy. Because it's the only thing, because you can't get, I'm sure you can't get gold and silver in any quantity. Not right now, not physically.
We are moving.
You guys are.
My broker, I talk to my broker all the time, and she is moving large quantities. As a matter of fact, one of the largest silver purchases that we know of in recent history just happened, $50 million. And it's going to be pushing towards $1 billion. And that's actual physical delivery. So we actually are witnessing amazing things. Now, with that said, the reason why I don't talk about crypto right now is it's about to crash. And people don't understand this cycle because it's so leveraged to the stock market, because the big boys got involved and introduced derivatives. And so, yes, I believe it's going to be the exit strategy. The problem is there's going to be a lot of pain. So are you going to have more funds to buy the dip of real Bitcoin or real Digibyte or Litecoin,
whatever,
pull it off the exchange, put it in your actual hands, your wallet? Or are you going to be the one that cries and goes, I can't pay my rent, I'm going to have to sell it now at a loss? That's going to be 90% of the holders right now in retail. And that's what's sad.
Sure, that's the part that I think a lot of people forget, is that you need to be getting your dry powder on the side, because while crypto has come down, and I do think everything's going to collapse, including crypto, but crypto is going to be like a wick, maybe 2 wicks, and then it's going to bounce right back because of how low the liquidity is.
No. Let me share with you real quick. You're 100% right, but it will bounce back because the big money will come in and laugh at all the sellers, and they will level 1, level 2 trading. People don't really understand with the stock market, but as of right now, you can still have that type of advantage knowing how big the float is, or the book of sales on crypto markets. But the government wants to stop that. They don't want you seeing the size of so they want this like essentially like a Coinbase. They want you at the basic Coinbase level, because I can't stand them. They don't want you to see like, hey, this is how much it is. Do you want it or not? And what you don't realize is they're just buying from somebody else that's selling it to you.
Yep.
Disgusting what they do.
It's basically fractional reserve banking on steroids, if you really think about it.
Or fractional reserve trading, just a straight markup.
Sure.
And they're taking advantage, and it just, gosh, I hate it. But hey, that's where we're at.
So this is a big thing that I like about the Divi project. If you haven't heard of them, check them out. Diviproject.org, DIVI. They just built a self-custodian wallet that is got a built-in decentralized exchange and a fiat on and off ramp. No one else is doing that, and it's all self-custody. So as soon as you buy with fiat, you're immediately self-custodying. There's no other third party. But
who's backing that transaction from?
Who's the bank?
Fiat? Yeah, who's the bank?
I don't remember right now, but that is something you can easily find. It is available. I could try and pull it up, but
because then you have to look at fees, all that kind of stuff, and
there are fees associated to it. Yes.
And it'd probably be pretty darn healthy fees. But I mean, that's the problem with DeFi too. A lot of people are screaming, DeFi is awesome. And I'm like, no, it's not, because DeFi, when you start promising people 40% returns each year, I'm like, that's unsustainable on a blockchain.
Sure.
We're watching these programs just implode. And you're like,
sure.
If we just look at this logically, we can make, I mean, trust me, like you, I've lost a lot of money on some dumb projects.
Yeah.
It was my fault, you know?
It's just to do your research and whatnot. It's the same thing here.
Yeah.
It's just, you learn. And it's like with Celsius and like Voyager and all these other bankruptcies and stuff like that. I had a lot of people like, what, did you ever get into Celsius? No, I never touched it. I don't do that. I hold my own. I made wallets that are more secure than anything's being made today for myself to hold my stuff that are not even, no one's thinking about doing about. And realistically, it's as simple as a paper wallet printed on fire resistant paper, stored in freaking safes all around the world. It's that simple.
That's true. I know somebody that bought Ethereum at 10 cents each, and he still has it on a paper wallet, and he's got money. I can't imagine how much is sitting on that paper wallet. That's crazy.
I have, so with my company, I do a blockchain company.
Yeah.
And I've helped several people pull crypto worth millions off of paper wallets. Just, I have no idea how to get this off. It's really simple.
Great. That's a great consulting gig right there.
Yeah. Yep. That's why I set it up. That, and I've got other projects on my plate right now, where I've got a new cryptocurrency that may come into existence. I may touch mining again. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
There's a couple other things going on with that, but that's awesome. Actually, like you, still work a full-time job.
Yep.
Just there. And then I do this, and I do another show, and I do
Well, that's why I started that side hustle course.
Yeah.
Because it's so valuable, not only to have a side hustle for a second revenue stream, but the legal tax write-offs. That's what blows me away.
That is huge.
Yeah.
That is huge.
You want to make money? Stop paying taxes legally.
Yeah.
And you do that by setting up a side business, legal entity, and then you have protections.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. Went out and bought I needed a new truck. Went out and got a new truck, but it's for the business and primarily what it's used for. Yep. I don't need it for anything else realistically, except to get me to meetings.
Yep.
There's the occasional camping trip or whatever, but usually while I'm there, there's somebody who wants to talk about crypto, and that's what the business is about. So, and
you took the 179 deduction, so you got it all at once, probably, right?
Not yet. That would butt this year, so that's happening next year.
That's so incredible, because I know people in the 50% tax bracket, and you're immediately getting 50% discount right now on that vehicle.
Exactly, and it's beautiful. I absolutely love it. So,
well, you want to talk about a crash? I had to buy a brand new truck last December for one of my companies as well, right? Mm-hmm. Even though I knew the car market was going to crash, and now it's happening, and it's going to be spectacular. And I'm lining up my dream cars right now, but I'm watching repo lots that are literally filling up to capacity, and the companies are having to buy more land in California and Las Vegas. Because there's so many repos, because everybody went out and bought Dodge Chargers with their down payment from their stimulus money, and now they cannot afford to eat, pay their electricity, and their car. And so 100%. I am just like foaming at the mouth, because I'm telling business owners, if you're thinking about buying a car right now, wait until December, because there's gonna be some deals.
Had I not needed it for pulling a camper, because we do a good bit of camping, had I not needed it, I would have been waiting. But it was one of those like, okay, my truck that I was pulling it with, every time I pull, I would try to pull a 30-foot with a 150, F-150.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do that.
I know exactly. I've smoked a clutch or two actually in my life with a boat, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
It worked, but it was one of those over long hauls. You're like, you pay for it in gas.
But and then going back to the side hustle, then you want to go get a second car and you want to legally write it off, you can start a whole nother entity.
Correct.
And then buy the car under that one. And then, it's so amazing. Multi-corporate strategies to me are just the greatest thing in the world. It's all legal.
That is next on my list, is to start. I don't know if I want to call it an umbrella or what I want to do with it, but it will be something that holds all assets that belong to the business. Yeah. And then there will be benefits to the employees of that business and that associate to those assets.
I know exactly what you mean. I have one of those as well. If you ever need help, let me know. I got the people setting up my corporations are awesome, and they're actually the ones that do Robert Kiyosaki's, and they're awesome.
I might just do that. I have the guy, my accountant did the stuff with the Be Your Own Bank stuff. I don't know if you're familiar with that, with the life insurance policies and stuff.
Oh, but I know exactly what you're referring to. Yeah, I do know what you mean.
Yeah. So they're very, very good at that kind of stuff, but they're not. I would love to get into the circle of Robert Kiyosaki's, the people who are around setting those types of things up, because that's how my brain thinks.
Yep.
Part of the stuff, like I may have done all the mining and everything earlier on, and we may have done this stuff with the housing market and whatnot. But part of my goal, my wife's goal, is to get economically independent.
Yep.
Where we have enough income streams that replace the salary that I have and get to the point to where I want it to be, where I feel like I'm economically independent, where I don't have to be concerned about it, but the residual income stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of people look at real estate and I'm like, yes, but there is a new version of that with crypto. And the reason around that is you go and you stake it inside of the ecosystems and you earn the residual income on it if you park enough.
True.
So if I was going to go park $600,000 in a house, why not park it in something that's earning 18% or 10%? You're still not going to get that on a yearly basis with a house.
Well, actually,
Plus
you will.
You have all the.
Let me tell you something. Actually, I love talking about real estate. Real estate, you can make money 3 different ways. With crypto, you can only make money 2 different ways, right? So you have appreciation and you have the ability of getting residual income, right? Like you explained. With real estate, you have the same thing: appreciation. You have a possible appreciation because there are cycles, right? But over the long term, real estate will always go up long term because the currency is being destroyed. You also have cash flow from rent, but then you also have something amazing, and that's tax advantage. 2 different ways, both through depreciation and through being able to move through 1031 exchanges and through certain entities, and being able to literally, in certain cases, pay 0 in tax. And then you can actually access the money tax-free through loans. So with real estate, I think it is the big boy, especially like right now, what you're doing, you're in one cycle. And I teach this in my online course. It's like, you have to understand that you don't always do one side hustle forever because there's cycles to them. So as crypto, you're making your cash flow. When real estate starts to bottom, and you know that's going to bottom when they rose rates, when they start to lower rates because of a panic, that's when you know real estate is at its bottom as far as price, because the greedy will jump back in because of lower interest rates and run the house price up. So you'd want to get back into that or have exposure to both, so you're well diversified in either sector.
So that's my goal, is to get a little more exposed into both. But like for most of my listeners and whatnot, this is part of the reason I want to have you on, is because like this is type of stuff that they talk about. And so we're doing an event next month and whatnot, and like some of the discussion points that people want to talk about is this stuff. Like once, when things crash, how do we diversify? How do we get in? Stuff like that. So go talk to Economic Ninja, guys. Go listen to his stuff. This is what you need to do. He's spot on what he's doing. He's really smart.
Thank you.
So,
it's a lot easier talking to someone like you, though, and being able to answer questions. It's a whole other thing to have a McDonald's coffee, get all hopped up on caffeine and hit record. And I don't have any whiteboards or notes. I just talk from my memory of investing. So it is a little difficult. I do stutter a lot.
That doesn't matter, man. This is what makes you're real. You don't edit your stuff. I don't edit any of my stuff. I don't have time like you. You got all this other stuff going on. I just do a live show because I have 30 minutes to get ready for it, and then I do it. I don't care. I mean, it's me. Whatever. If you want the information, great. At the end of the day, you don't want to be here, don't have to be here, kind of thing.
Totally.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun when you have a conversation like this. So if you want to do that kind of stuff, reach out. I'll pop on and do whatever. I'll try to jump in there if you want to. It's always fun to have a conversation.
Yeah, totally, man. Thanks. Really appreciate it.
So, tell everyone real quick where they can get a hold of you. I know we got to be mindful of time and whatnot. So
if you
Google, get a hold of you.
If you Google Economic Ninja, you're going to find me all over the internet. So I'm on just about every platform, mainly YouTube. I think we're hitting around 5 million views a month now. Really exciting. My goal is to hit 10 million a month. So I want to get past CNBC here pretty shortly. So we're going to see some big things, hopefully, God willing. And I really do mean that. There's a voice going out, and I keep telling everyone, if you have a voice, get out there and start speaking, because the minority is the loud people. The majority are the silent, good people. And if we can wake those guys up, all of you, men and women, black, white, Cuban, or Asian, I want to wake you guys up, and let's go out and absolutely crush it in this one. BlackRock's not going to buy up all the assets. It's going to be you.
Yeah, I just heard they did the $50 billion asset raising to go buy houses. And I'm like, that's not really going to buy a whole lot. And it
doesn't even make me flinch. Yeah, they're going to go down. Trust me, they're going down.
Yep. But what did they lose? $1.7 trillion in the first quarter of this year?
So all of a sudden 50 billion makes us impressive. And just, all that money came from your guys' pensions. I want people to understand, they came from your pensions. They're taking your money to buy your house to rent it back to you. And they said it right there in the article. We're going to do it during the housing crash. Well, I don't want that. I'm declaring that over everybody that's watching this video right now, that you're going to wake up like that, and you're going to go, enough's enough. I'm going to stop putting towards my pension. I'm going to start investing in me, and we're going to go and crush it.
Yeah, a lot of stuff people aren't realizing. Like I have family members who are in retirement or about to be in retirement, and they've got the 401ks and the IRA set up. And I'm like, how much did you lose already this year? And they're like 30, 40%. I'm like, can we talk about crypto now, please? Or can we talk about gold and silver? Can we get you out of that somehow? And they're like, no. I'm like, oh, okay.
What are you going to do? I mean, what the gold's been up 15% since January of 2020. The stock market's up like 8%. So I'm okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for popping on today. And
Absolutely.
I really do appreciate it. You guys go check out his show. He really knows what he's talking about. And
thank you.
The Economic Ninja, thanks for being here, man.
See you, man. See you guys.